Coming to you from the dining room table at East Barbary Lane, welcome to another special episode of Full Circle, the podcast. I am your host, Charles Tyson Jr., and I am so excited to be sitting with our guest today. Besides being a friend of the pod, he is a friend in real life. He is a ridiculously talented choreographer and art maker and educator and scholar and all-around bad bitch. Tommie-Waheed Evans is in the house. Hello, sir.
Hello. I need to save that one. I live.
It will
How
always
are
be true.
you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm fab too. Thank you for those beautiful words. We just out here trying to live life to the fullest, make some art, and eat some chicken.
Hey, what more can you ask for besides a check
Yes.
for $1 million?
I would love that. Actually, I really would, because I'm trying to go on vacation this summer.
Right? What was what was that meme? I'm not saying money can buy happiness. I'm just saying all my problems could be solved by $300,000 right
Yes,
now.
yes.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
So you are like straight up one of my favorite choreographers.
I just want to pause and say, insert. No, really, because, as this particular month getting ready for the commission that I'm sure we're going to talk about with Martha Graham,
Mm.
there has been 3 writers and now you who have begun the conversation in that regard. And, I'm not originally from Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Los Angeles and I moved here in 2002. And I don't know, I just feel like Philly is just my home. It's my people's. And the fact that you all have just like supported me in such a way and have like lifted me and my work and what I'm doing up, it just really means a lot. So you saying something like that just really like touches me
I mean,
deeply.
it's just true. Like I was trying to think this morning, when did we meet? And the earliest time that I can remember encountering you, so this might not be when we met, this is the earliest time I can remember, is, think back in the back. It was Brian Mangini's Ballet Boys showcase. Do you remember this at the Performance Garage? This is like 1.0 Performance Garage. They didn't even have the renovation yet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a mixed
My
bill.
wonderful picture came from him that I used forever that I can't use no more because my body don't look like that.
Yeah, it's like I could use AI, but then I'd be lying.
It's one of my favorite pictures. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite pictures. One of my favorite pictures.
Yes, we're going to say that you are the best thing that came out of that, because at the time, I had a solo in that show, and it was set on my ex, and well, I mean, the piece was fierce. So
Okay. Okay. Honey, okay. Say less. Got
okay.
it.
But I think that also, that might have been, that would have been when I was introduced to your work. And I just remember, first of all, it was all Black men, which was beautiful. And just your movement style, it was highly technical and athletic, but there were also these subtle touches. And those are the things that just made me go, like the thing that sticks out to me, because I remember telling people about it. There was this joint, Tony Rhodes did it. I remember very, very clearly. And he did this combination onto the stage, and then he slowly reached up to the sky and then just released with this sigh. And that took me out. You know, it's like those are the things that get me.
Yes, yes, yes. It's humanity. You know,
Yes.
we want I know for me in my work, I want people to have an experience, to see themselves, but to ultimately feel something. And I think that deeply comes from my background in church.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Um, you know, in that black Church of God in Christ Pentecostal church, not the one that's polite, but the one that gets a little dirty and messy and a little guttural, not messy, not
Well,
dirty, but guttural. Because I find that, like, you know, and we experience that a lot of times, like with singers, period. Just some good Patti LaBelle, Fantasia, Jasmine Sullivan, like sometimes they're not even saying anything,
right,
but you are understanding, you are connecting, you are feeling. They are saying and doing something that you are relating to in your body in
right,
that moment.
right.
And I like that with dance. I like the fact that sometimes one of my favorite dancers is Renee Robinson, who was in Alvin Ailey. And
Mm.
Renee can just simply walk across the stage in the back, and something so captivating,
Yes.
you know, drew you in to watch her, but something about that was reflective to you. I
Right.
can't describe it. Something you felt it in your body. You understood it. So I adore that you felt that moment because that's exactly what I try to do with choreography. You know, it's not just about showcasing this dancer's talent in a way that you as an audience member can say I can never do that, but it's that you feel that it relates to you and in your life and in your relationships and in your walk. Like
Yes.
something is there for you. So
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, that subtlety. I'm the right audience member for that because like I notice when I go see things, the things that make me go yes, as opposed to the things that make other people go yes. Because I remember it was the IABD gala. Oh God, this would have been 2000. This would have had to have been 2009.
And
Yes,
Philly,
yes,
10,
yes.
2010,
2010. Okay,
2010,
okay, okay.
January.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And I'm up in the balcony and there's like some young dancers to my left and all the fierce twirl leg things and they're going, "Yes." And I remember it was Camille Brown and she
Hmm.
was doing this solo and like she hit this fierce combination, but what got me was like she rolled to the floor and then came to a dead stop, looked at the audience and like flicked her brow. That is what made me
Hmm.
go,
Hmm.
yes, that's the kind of thing
Hmm.
that sends me.
Yes, yes. I love when I talk when I'm in rehearsals or in process, not rehearsals, in process. I share with dancers I'm working with. I'm more so interested with the in between
Hmm.
than the big things. The jeté, the pirouette, the arabesque, the tilt. That's the big things. Great. You're going to do that. I'm interested in you investigating and nurturing and finding nuance in the in between because that's what we see and what we feel. When you
Right.
grab that partner's hand or touch their shoulder or caress their face, that's humanity.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everyone sees a situation that they've been in, whether it's love or hate, you know?
Right.
Like I in my most recent piece I did on Philadanco, I think last year, 2025 spring, yes. Promise me you won't call. At the end there's this duet and the male identifying dancer of the duet just simply as she's reaching for him he just ducks under her arms and walks away
Oh.
and she's there like you know left alone and the whole audience for the entire weekend Friday Saturday and Sunday all just gasps. It
Hmm.
was like it
Right.
was a moment that they felt but it was also a moment that they probably went through
And you're
one way or
you're not
another.
getting that clean catharsis and resolution that you felt like you were going to get, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it's inside of she did an arabesque, he did a tendu. It's
Right,
kind of
right,
like,
right.
ooh, I'm so amazed. But it's like when you're able to create that juxtaposition in choreography, and
Mm-hmm.
back to what Camille did in that solo, it's a juxtaposition. Like the kids are sitting there looking at how she's swirling it up, but then you're sitting there looking at her subtlety, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're getting this now. You're getting this, which I believe happens in Black dance.
Mm-hmm.
Aha, you're getting this well-rounded experience
Yes.
that transcends past.
Yes.
It goes somewhere else. It just that's the ability that we have in our blackness with our art. We're
Mm-hmm.
able when we listen to Aretha Franklin. Yes, she's hitting C sharps and modulations and bending notes and doing all the things that we study, but then she's moaning
Right.
and you're just feeling emotions and
Mm-hmm.
you're connecting to soul and depth. And I love that about Black people, that we are able to do that with our
Yes.
art.
And it's like, the high leg, the multiple turns, that's the vocabulary. But it's like, are you saying something? Or are you just speaking words? That's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? And that,
Yeah, I danced for many years with John Myers Brown, and she will always say that.
mm-hmm.
What are you trying to say? And Miss Deborah Chase Hicks, the former rehearsal director who's now with the ancestors, will always say
Mm,
that. But what are you trying to say?
right.
Tell a story. Yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, because like, after a while, you can only kick your face but so many times before it stops being exciting unless you got something behind it.
Yes. And something I want younger dancers to also know, so that, as I say this next thing, because I used to be able to kick my face and do the things. It is also when you just get to an age that you don't even want to do that
Right.
all the time, or you don't want to always have to. It's like, okay, yes, and
Right.
I will always say you hit an age in dance, especially when you're in a company where, okay, there's a couple of things that happen. You get into a company, you just want to get casted, you want to get out there,
Right.
and you're particularly younger. Then you get into your later 20s where, like, okay, now it's all coming together. You're understanding your body. You have this experience under your belt. Starting to be regarded. You're dependable. So boom, you're out there even more. Then comes those early 30s.
Ah,
And this is where it gets interesting. Because one, it always don't feel good.
right.
Two, now you're two generations away from the incoming.
Uh-huh.
So now there's a whole new energy. And now you got these dancers who want to just kick and kick and kick and can do it. And you are now in the body that's like, I've done that,
Right.
but now I really feel how it's feeling to get off this tour bus and get back into rehearsal the next day.
The knee don't knee like it
And
used to.
say it again for people out in the back. And then you also don't have to prove in that same way. Like you don't have, when you're 26, get off the tour bus, and Alonzo King is in the studio, and you in that show the night before only did one ballet, you're going to get into that rehearsal with Alonzo King. You're going to kick some butt
Mm-hmm.
because you are trying to get into the ballet. But when you're in your early 30s, you're like, well, Alonzo King already knows me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just did four ballets the night before. Give me a second.
Right.
And going back to the thing what you're saying, I just believe that when I turned 30, I begin to understand, okay, my body is still capable, but that is just, I just don't want to continuously do that just all the time in that way. I need something else.
Right.
I need to explore this moment. I need to find newness. So maybe that regard, maybe that becomes a situation where I'm not lifting my leg up as high, or I'm playing with the idea of port de bras, or I'm investigating through this piece in a less visceral way.
Right.
I'm finding other nuances. You have to put yourself in a situation where it's not always just that, because it's not always that I'm going to get older and it's not going to happen. It's just I'm going to get older. I'm going to realize that I don't always have to do that. I don't always, when I'm in a relationship, have to scream at my partner.
Right.
We can simply have a conversation. And sometimes, listen to me, young people, sometimes when you whisper it and you
Uh-huh.
simply just walk away, that does more damage
Yep.
than you screaming down the street banging on his car. I may have done that in my life, but we'll talk about that in another podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But you just learn that's back to dance. You just learn that like it becomes about those in betweens and those subtleties, and that actually is what carries you through
Mm-hmm.
and makes you an artiste.
That part. Yes. And you are definitely that. And you have been such an artiste. I'm going to jump to the lead now. You have become such an artiste through your time with Philadanco and with your company and as a solo performer that you have been commissioned to create a work on none other than the Martha Graham Dance Company. Hello. Hello.
Such a blessing. So excited.
What was that What did that announcement feel like?
So it was a bit surreal. I was on a call. I was actually on a call with the Art Philly team and Philadanco staff, and they were just explaining what they would want this collaboration between Philadanco and Martha Graham to be, and how it's tying into the 250th anniversary of America, and this idea that um, there be a choreographer from Philly
Mm-hmm.
who can ultimately give the Martha Graham Dance Company a sort of like Philadelphia experience, like a
Okay.
kind of like welcoming, like us, like them coming over and like we just having like this party with them in our and on our turf. I'm not really describing it in the best way. And some kind of way, I guess, through hearing that, Joe Myers Brown was just like, "Oh, that should be Tommie,"
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "Oh, okay." So then they brought it back to Janet Ilber, who is the artistic director of Martha Graham,
Mm-hmm.
and she's someone I've been lightly emailing my work to, just in the shuffle of like, I'm a choreographer, look at my work.
Okay.
So some kind of way, I think she took a deeper look into my work and was like, yes, this would be a nice idea. So then Art Philly came to me, the people from Art Philly, and said, all right, so the idea is to use the archive of Martha Graham's American Document piece that she choreographed, I think in 1938. I don't want to really give it 1938. I think it's 1938 though. Um,
Still roundabout. Shoot.
and it's around that time. And so the idea, because a lot of what, in my opinion, of Martha Graham's dance company's newer works, it's always in conversation some kind of way to Martha and her work, whether
Okay.
said choreographer is following a picture or a quote or a music score that was unfinished or something. In my opinion, says like it speaks back to Martha.
Which makes
So this
sense.
was a way, which just was a way that this commission speaks back to Martha. It was like, well, she does this piece called America Document. It's celebrating. It asks the question, what does it mean to be an American? And her source
Mm.
material was the Declaration of Independence and the Bible. And so when I was brought that, I said, well, number one, I want to be just in conversation with her. And something I told the dancers in process recently, I said, it's almost like that YouTube clip, if you ever seen it, of Nikki Giovanni and James
Yeah,
Baldwin or Martha,
we just
Maya
watched this like
Angelou,
2 weeks ago, so yes.
just two people sitting and having a conversation and
Yes.
posing their ideas. And you know, that's how I begin to think of the framing of the work. But to go back to it, when it really started to take off, I had an oh shit moment. I was like, oh shit, like this is big.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, I know, like this is big. I didn't expect it. It wasn't on my docket. I think in previous seasons, you talk to people, you're getting interest, you're like, let's keep showing me your work. It's a song and dance
Right.
that I simply got on a Zoom call because JB was like, I need you to get on a Zoom call with me today. And I said, okay. I got
All right.
on and thinking I was going to be a liaison in a different capacity. And
Right.
she just suggested my name. And I said, oh, let's go.
Hey.
It's go time. And I think it's just been such an exciting process. I'm really proud of the work. I'm really excited about the work. Um, and it's go time. Let's do it.
I was so thrilled when I saw your name on the press release. And, well, two things went across my mind. One was work, the other one was like, oh, because when we went and saw, Martha and I went and saw Rennie Harris's most recent residency work. And oh, we can talk about it. And there was that big installation dedicated to Philadanco. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, what's that doing here? And then that two
And
and two made four. And I was like, oh, they're doing, oh, and then, and then he's, oh, yeah. I got so excited. And that is,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
immediately
yeah.
like, first of all, we need to have him on the show because I need to talk about this to someone besides myself. Like, I am so proud of you. And it just makes sense. It just makes sense to me. Just,
I thank you so much for that. Yeah, to be at his show, even he said, Rennie, that is, sorry. Rennie was like, you're just going to stand over here and act like everything's normal. And meanwhile, like your picture and the process to this work you're doing is right over here. And that's, I just want chicken. I just want some chicken. I'm just here to make some dances and eat some chicken. But it keeps like, I don't know. I think I suppress it. Like, oh, it's a simple commission, and every
well, because you want to
moment
be
as
humble. You don't want to, like, you know.
I want to be like, I'm out here making this ballet. Everyone stand up. No, you don't want to do that, but you also it's not weird. That's not the word I want to use, but like it is interesting when your dreams start to come true in the regards of how the opportunities are coming through and
Mm-hmm.
how you desperately want to stay normal.
Right. Right.
Like you want it to be like just another, I started making works a long time ago for like Elion Dance Theater of Philadelphia, Treasure.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And my biggest thing on days that they were premiering a new piece was I was eating Skittles in the back of the house.
Yeah.
And I still want to be that Tommy. Like I just want to walk into the theater, see the piece, and I think when I saw the installation, the exhibit, I was like, okay, this is a big deal.
Uh
This is a
huh.
big deal. This is
Right.
a big deal. But okay, just concentrate on making the work, looking at it, remaining calm, making sure your point of view is clear. But I'm pretty sure the night before, May 28th, I'm going to probably be somewhere like squilling.
You've got to give yourself that moment. You've got to. If you haven't already, come on now. You just, even if it's just like standing in the middle of the room, just throw your head back and scream. I am premiering a work on the Martha Graham Dance Company, bitch.
You gotta get through the tech. Like you gotta get that's my thing. You gotta get through the tech. When you get
Fair.
to the tech and it's like, okay, the ideas, the costumes, it's boom.
Yeah.
That's when you can say, yeah. But
Right.
before then,
You don't want to
gotta
jinx
get we
nothing.
got you just that's I think it's not really about jinxing. I think that's just when maybe subconsciously I can allow myself to feel.
Okay. Okay.
Like when I got the Guggenheim, that was a very exciting moment. Like to receive an email and to say the words of you congratulations, you will be getting this award. The only thing we gotta wait on is these people are gonna vote on it. The board of trustees, but the panel,
Right.
already got your name on this list, and babes, that was like for that moment I can transcend. But right now, with dances you put on stage and the art, and you know this as a creative, it's like you gotta make sure it gets rolling.
Right.
Then you feel, then I think I will feel that excitement. But even then, you might not see me after the show. That's a whole nother
Fair.
podcast.
Fair. Because, like, I imagine, it's got to feel both surreal and correct. Surreal because, how many individuals walking the planet or that have walked the planet can say, I was commissioned to create a work in the Martha Graham Dance Company. Like, that is like a unique experience that not a lot of people get, right? Okay, fierce. But at the same time, you have been working towards this moment. Like, this moment just makes sense in the trajectory of how you've been leading your life and putting out your work and investing in yourself and investing in your art. Like, this just makes sense. At least it does to me, so I hope it does to you.
I'm very grateful. It makes, just I think when you start making work and you start getting opportunities, you look to the next. Like, well, okay, what's next? And not like the next as like what's big, but
I get that.
you just want to keep making work.
Right.
And I think I am very grateful. And yes, it's like it's exciting to make. And honestly, maybe pause and say this. I think Tommy 10 years ago or 7 years ago would see the name, the opportunity, the lights, the glam, the outfit, the bow,
Right, right, right. Because
and
you
then
you love an
also the
elaborate
like,
choreographed bow.
honey, and to see like how can in the desperation of wanting to leverage it and expecting the expectations like, well, now I'm sure this up thing is coming next too. But I think ebbing and flowing and COVID and UArt's closing
Yeah.
and all the things that's come in adulting while creating, I am more concentrating on the importance that it is to just be in a room and getting to make a dance.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I feel the honor and the grateful and the prestigeness of the situation, but I'm also focusing on, okay, what who and what is the next dance I get to create.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't need to be, I hope it to be, but it doesn't need to be, it needs to just be.
Right, right.
And Otis Ali once time told me that he said every dance you create is an important dance. So
Mm-hmm.
don't negate when you're at Metropolitan Youth Ballet making a little 8 minute ditty for Lisa Collins. Make them a ballet. Like, concentrate on the dance, and that's important. And then when you're in the studio with Martha Graham and Philadanco dancers, you make them the same important ballet. You show up to make because you just want to make.
Right.
Also, I've been thinking, Charles. I've been thinking a lot about time,
Mm-hmm.
watching people age and
Mm-hmm.
closely seeing that as creatives, there's this window, and as that window closes, only so many will remain legendary status, kind of.
Right.
Like Bill T. Jones can make a ballet if he wants to make a ballet,
Right.
and if he wanted to put, in my opinion, let me say that, in my opinion, if he wanted to put a blast out email to all the top companies and say, you know what, I feel like making works this year, they will commission him.
Mm-hmm.
They will say yes. They will look at that. There are people who might be making work at the same time as Bill T. Jones who didn't get to make it to that status
Right.
in that place, but I hope they're still making dances.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think that's all I'm trying to concentrate on. I just want to make dances.
Something you said really struck me. You were talking about the desperation of you from a few years ago. And I definitely feel that because, like, young artist Charles, that was like, I wouldn't have phrased it that way, but that's what that was, that
Hmm.
desperation. Like, I gotta go and I gotta do and I gotta meet and they gotta know who I am. Cause if they don't know who I am, then I ain't nobody. I'm never gonna be able to do anything. Oh, I got you. I get that. That's real.
My
And
idea is important. They need to
right,
hear it. They need to see it. And
right.
you getting critiques and you're not really listening.
Oh, Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus. Yeah,
You're
that.
not listening, but also you're not able. Because I want to tell young artists, it's not about like conforming and silencing yourself. Sometimes it's just really about slowing down to articulate yourself and
Right,
expressing the importance,
right,
and then finding a better way maybe to like go about it,
right,
and not being so hear me now, move out the way, but more so, okay, this is my idea. Let me hear your thoughts on it. And then really finding the essence and the importance of what you're trying to do to get to the thing. And
right,
then something I want to tell young artists is too is like that won't be the last thing you make. So if this person is giving you pushback, this director, this producer, fill in the blank, you can say I can save my idea for another thing
right.
and have more ownership.
Yeah.
I got a story about that. You like to hear about it? Here it goes. Now,
D-
I'm just kidding, but yeah, I gave a company an idea.
Please.
I gave them an idea, and the director pushed back on it, and it just began to be such a battle about doing my idea that they first agreed on doing.
Right.
And before I got South Central, I just had to pause and go inside myself and collect my self worth and say, Tommy, you know the idea can work. Maybe this idea is just not for this organization.
Right.
And that is nothing wrong. And I still have a relationship with the organization. But I took my idea and gave it to Philadelphia Dance Projects, Terry Fox, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're presenting it in 2027, funded by Pew. It's okay.
Bam.
And I wish so when we talk about Tommy, that 2017, I wanted everything.
Uh huh.
And I have a best friend who is also my manager, Lamar Baylor. And he simply asked me because I was fighting with the organization. I'm always fighting with the organization. I was fighting with the organization about an application about how this needs to happen. I wasn't fighting. I was just being like aggressive. Like, are you submitting it? You're not submitting it. And this was for something else. And inside of hearing me vent, Lamar simply asked me. He said, "Why is this award so important to you? Why getting this award is so important to you? Like, what would this do for you?" And at that moment in 2017, I just felt like I just wanted the award. So I could
Right.
say I got the award.
You want to collect them like Infinity Stones.
Like I'm like I'm the Grammys and this is a Whitney Houston album. I got 5 of them and I'm
Right.
holding them at the press conference. That's what I wanted. And I had to get to the root of it
Mm-hmm.
and said, this award gives me an opportunity. This award is for leverage. This award helps me to get into a studio and make a dance.
Right.
So that's all I want to do. So when this back to what's happening in my life right now, listen,
You mean creating work on
working
the
with,
Martha Graham Company? Is that the thing you're talking about? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Just making sure.
being in that studio with these people, I'm like, whoa. But
Mm-hmm.
being in this studio with those people, I'm like, but I'm working to work. So I'm not even in here thinking about the blog posts I can make, the content,
Right.
me sitting in the studio with my glasses, giving a pose. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not
You
thinking about that. I'm thinking about,
you did do that though. Please tell me you did that.
I always do. I did
Okay,
that for
good.
you today. I threw on this vest. This is not even part of my outfit. I just threw this vest on, this hat. I said, we going. We
Work.
gonna be on a pod. We gonna be on camera. We gotta be on camera. But it's not. But it's just not no longer about the showing of that. It's
Right.
just I want to I put this vest on, this hat on, but at the root, I just want to be in conversation with you, talking about dance. That's what makes me happy, and that's what I need to happen for the rest of my life.
And
So
that's the
me
thing that
doing
comes through. Yeah.
so doing this thing with Martha Graham and Philadanco, I'm just like, great. Now, could we see the future of it? Could it walk? Could it talk? Maybe. But if on May 30th, after that last show, if Joan Myers Brown and Janet are both like, all right, this was great. I have this memory. I have this piece. I have this
You
in
better
my
have this
archive.
video.
All of it. All of them. I have this thing, and I just really want to say again. I know sometimes people don't say it, but like, I'm really proud of the work.
Good.
It's they're dancing.
Uh huh.
We're dancing. We're in there conjuring, honey. We're conjuring some spirits and some emotions and some stories. So yeah,
I love it. So is this piece just you creating on the Graham Company dancers? Or is it also like is it a Danko dancers and Graham? Like how was
yes.
okay.
So the idea was the piece be with four gram dancers, and I was initially supposed to only use four Danko dancers. So it was going to be eight dancers in total, four and four.
Okay.
But I had an extra dancer from Danko come and be an understudy.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles, that first week of starting this process, she was just in there killing it. So I just said, well, we're going to use five Danko dancers and four Martha Graham dancers. And everyone agreed on it, and it's worked out really lovely.
I love it.
My first idea for the process was that I was going to do a piece where it would have been five sections, and Martha Graham would have a section, Danko would have a section, kind of thing. Yeah, like the first idea was Graham was going to get a group section, then Graham would have like a solo duet section, then Danko would have a group section, and then Danko would have a solo group section, and then they'll have a section together. Because in Martha Graham's original American Document piece, it was five sections.
Okay.
And we got to going and generating material, and I said, we're just all gonna be one company. We're gonna be
Thank you.
one ensemble,
I love it.
and all five sections is both companies, and they're integrated in ways where the goal is, if you saw the piece outside of the context of a Martha Graham show or a Philadanco show, and you just saw them, you would just see an ensemble. You wouldn't be able to say she's in Danko and she's in Martha Graham. It's just which one thing I want to bring to the listeners is, you know, I come from the black dance tradition, the black dance aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I trained at the Alvin Ailey American Dance Center before it was called the Ailey School.
Right, right, right.
And Martha Graham's technique, the Graham technique was very important.
Oh
You
yeah.
had that three times a week.
Yep.
It's like it's a part of our training. So to really, people, I had a friend who said, "Oh, like it's interesting that you're doing a piece that's a collaboration between Danko and Martha Graham. Like I wouldn't really see that." But I'm like, to this person who's also African American, I'm like, but you trained in Graham.
Right.
You know what contractions are. You have had that teaching deep in your body. So that actually makes a lot of sense that this type of we have
Yeah.
Pat Thomas, Mary Hinkston, Dudley
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Yuriko, all were teachers at Philadanco. So of
Mm-hmm.
course, that's ingrained in our Denise Jefferson, may
Mm-hmm.
she rest in peace, all ingrained in who we are in our aesthetic. So to be in the studio all together, it just makes so much sense that we just become
Right.
one.
Right. That's the other thing. When I realized that there was going to be that collaboration, that's another element that just made perfect sense. it just did. It's like, oh, of course there's that connection because like Danko is as steeped in Graham as it is in Horton or like any other foundational technique. That just makes sense. And then I was like, why the hell ain't this happened before? Because that just it makes too
I
much
don't
sense.
know. And I think Charles, I think where we're going in dance presentation, because I know in recent seasons, Paul Taylor and Dayton Contemporary Dance Company
Hmm.
has done some type of collaboration like this. I'm just questioning. Like, I think more companies need to take on this challenge or
Hmm.
this idea, not challenge. This idea. It's just because it's really interesting and it's a shared audience experience. Like, come next week at the Annenberg, you're gonna be in that audience and you're going to see Philadanco supporters, you're going to
Yep.
see hardcore Martha Graham supporters, and there's this opportunity that there could be a crossover.
I just had the most entertaining visual image because I know how we are when it comes to Danko. We we can be a rowdy bunch,
And we're going to get rowdy. I'm going to let
and
you, I'm just going to say it out loud. We're going to be rowdy.
and
Oh, we're rowdy.
I'm glad that I learned how to be a dance audience member in Philadelphia, because I learned that it is okay to be rowdy and express your appreciation. And then coming up through the Kariamu and company like
May she
milieu.
rest in peace.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
yes, R.I.P.
yes.
Mama. But like you emote, you vocalize, and some of the more buttoned up members of the arts audience, they hate to sit next to me, and I do not care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am
It
so
is what it
excited.
is.
Yes, I am so excited
It
to
is
see
what it
these
is.
because I'm just gonna say it. The Martha Graham company and the aesthetic is viewed as being very white. I said it.
Okay.
It, I mean, it just by virtue of being what
It's
it is. Like no shade.
I would say it's because it's like it's high art.
It is high art.
I have a friend who's a choreographer, well-known choreographer. And I won't say his name like that, but he says it a lot.
Hmm.
Like he wants to create high art in the line of Martha Graham, Paul Taylor, Merce Cunningham. Like
Right.
he's black.
Well, that's the
He's like, I
thing.
want to create high art.
It's high art anyway, but it has also like historically been white. Like that's not shade. That's just a fact.
Hmm.
And it's but because it is high art and because it has been white for so long, and I'm putting the H in the white, the other H, oh white. The audience, and this is obviously changed over time. Like I recognize that, but like there's a certain expectation, there's a certain vibe,
Experience. Yeah.
experience, right? That when you go to a Graham show, it's a little more buttoned up.
Hmm.
It's
Like they may applaud in excitement. Like
right,
if something's like generating, they may say woo.
right,
But when you at a Danko performance and that same type of excitement's happening,
yes,
is the vocalization is going like,
yes,
you better go, you better
and
yes,
that's what
and it
I'm excited
also
to see happen. That mixture.
what and for me to jump in on that, what I'm excited for, not to give too much out, I am one of the resident choreographers of Philadanco, and I'm a longtime member. And I agree with you. When I moved to this great city and experienced the Philadanco Saturday show, I was like, "Oh, this is something I've never experienced in my life,
Hmm.
where the audience gets robbed up, but the dancers
Yes.
go to a place and it's like you're no I remember my first Saturday Philadelphia show. I was like, I'm looking at someone I know I've looked at you for the past couple of months, but now that we're on this stage, you transformed on me, dog. You're somewhere else. You're
Hmm.
lifted. Spirit has come in. You
Hmm.
have lost. You're doing things with your body that I kind of thought you can do, but now you are taking it there.
Yes.
And we had a rehearsal in New York with Martha Graham, And Danko dancers started to teeter that line. They started to hold things and do things with the material. And I said, that's going to be interesting for Graham to get on stage
Uh
at
huh.
that Annenberg because Graham Danko's going to do that home turf like we at the
Yep.
Final Four, and it's like people here, and this is what we do.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see how that gets the Graham dancers because I
Yeah.
feel like they're also because dance is contagious. Good dance is contagious.
Word. Yep.
And the thing I was saying about when I watched one of my friends on stage be transformed, I didn't go back to my dress room thinking to myself, oh, they just all started to get on stage and I don't know what was happening. I said, okay, all right, you doing that? I'm gonna do this, and it
Right.
starts this conversation. And we all know one thing: Graham dances are they have an epicness. They're dramatic.
Yes.
They are, and I mean dramatic as in expression. So I don't think they're gonna be intimidated by that. I think they're gonna get excited about it,
Oh
and I think then
yeah.
it's gonna turn into this whirlwind of an experience, and that
Yes.
is what I'm excited about.
Oh yeah. The dancers. That's another thing I was thinking of, like the excitement of the Graham dancers getting sinking their teeth into your material, because I am not as well versed in more contemporary works that have come out of the company. Like I know the repertory, and I love that, but I don't know how diverse their more contemporary programs have been. I assume they have been. So, but I also know what it takes to be a Graham dancer, just like I know what it takes to be a Denko
Yeah,
dancer. So it's like all that facility, it's just, and then
it's
they
in the
get to let
space.
loose
It's in
in
the
a way that
space.
they're not I'm not gonna say used to, but that they don't do every day. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see it.
that's also, speaking, and I love this conversation we're really having. I just want to say that it's, I've been writing a lot in materials that I've been working on and the applications of sort. It's like, there's this honoring that I have to the Black dance aesthetic. It is who
Hmm.
I am. Yes, I've gone to grad school and I've learned about Pina Bausch and, Anna Teresa and so many other postmodern likes, but I'm from the Black church. I'm from South Central. There's
Work.
a spirit, there's an element, there's an expression
Yes.
that I never want to leave my movement aesthetic.
Right.
And you saying that with the dancers, I've witnessed that. I have witnessed the Martha Graham dancers catching spirit in a run, and I'm like, you like, yes, like
Hmm.
I give way for that. That's a very important element to what I do. And whether it's making work on New York City Ballet or making work on Alvin Ailey or making work on Complexions, which I have a piece for Complexions coming
Uh,
this fall. That
uh,
was a little plug.
hey,
It's like I want that spirit to be able to be accessed,
there it is. Yes.
to
Yes.
be able to be accessed. And also, what I'm excited about too with the Martha Graham Philadanco collaboration, it's going to be accessed in two different ways.
Hmm.
And I think, it's not going to be like Martha Graham dancers out there trying to be like the Danko dancers. They're going to access that spirit or activate that spirit in
Hmm.
their own way.
Yes.
And it will be felt.
Hmm.
It will be felt, but it won't be the same Holy Ghost.
Right.
And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Different font. In a different font.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just I'm so excited because, like, like I love sometimes just for my own, like to soothe my soul. I like to watch videos of the Graham Company just doing the Graham floor. Because I personally think the Graham floor is like some of the most gorgeous dance in human history. Like just sit and watch it. It's meditative, but it's like so like precise and just beautiful. I love it. I love it. So like, but there's also a certain amount of rigidity is the words coming to my mind, but that is not it at all. So I'll say control, that
Mm,
you need to perfect and cultivate and excel in being purely a gram dancer, that you're going to have to unlearn at least a little bit to be able to
mm,
access your vocabulary and have it come from a natural place. And that's
mm.
really, really what I'm looking forward to seeing.
One thing I would say from working with the Graham dancers versus, the Danko dancers, like Graham dancers are very in their movement
Mm-hmm.
approach. In their movement approach, they're very statuesque. They can like hold the tension in a
Mm-hmm.
position. They can, in a sense, like conjure up a thing through emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Danko dancers is firecrackers.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, ba, boom, ba, bing, beat, attitude, do. Where Graham dancers want to do attitude, boom, 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 boom. Like the texture of it and the speed inside of it is more heavy.
Mm.
It's more heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And Danko's not light like ballet. Danko's not light, but that lightness,
But
that
can be.
swiftness,
Mm-hmm.
it can be, but it's about a swiftness. It's like an attitude swiftness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a finger snap. It's
Yeah.
still swift, but it got a little bite to it. And I don't know why I just did that. That is going to be
Because you can.
around forever. And
Because you
whoever's
can.
listening to this in the year 2038, yes, I did do that.
The image, and I'm glad that I was here for it. The image that comes to mind with Dangle when you just said that, it's like, okay, so like a Danko dancer can do like just a little finger gesture, right? But at the same time, it's like, that 90-year-old kung fu master can like take that one finger and punch a hole in the wall. That's
Yes.
that Danko dancer.
Yes.
That's that power behind
Yes.
just that one little finger,
Boop, boop.
but that one little finger can punch a hole through a wall. Don't
Yes.
get it twisted.
Yes. Danko's a lifestyle.
it
You get into this company. Let's take a detour for a second. You get into this company for your talent, for your magic, as Joe Miles Brown would say. I saw the magic and I said boo boo boo. But then some kind of way you learn how to be a Danko dancer, not from someone just literally telling you what to do with your body in choreography, but it becomes a lifestyle that begins to inform.
mhm
I always say when you are a Danko woman, when you are a Danko female identifying dancer, however we want to say that now, 2026,
mhm
if the tour bus that we're taking to the theater, was to get stuck in a ditch,
mm
all 8 of the female identifying dancers on the roster of Philadanco will get off that
yep
bus and push that bus
yep
out the dish.
yep
The ditch. They will do it.
yep
It won't be you need to help us. It's like we are here, let's
yep
go. And you see that in their
I
bodies
know
when
that's
they
right.
they mean business.
Mhm.
They mean business. Hair is in that bun, technique on fleek. We may have walked in and had 30 minutes to get everything together, get on that stage, but we are here and we gonna do it.
Mhm.
That so when you gave your yes,
Mhm.
yes, and JB would come in and JB never said get your leg up higher or jump higher. It just would be like impress me. She used these metaphors like why do you get a solo? I need to know why you get a solo, and just through her language and her one
It's a
words or
valid
her
question.
jazzy. She'd be like, make me understand why you got a solo. She would always say that. And it'd be a piece that everyone gets solo.
Right, 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 right.
And it'd be like, why is it your turn to get a solo? I need to know. And you'd be like, okay, yeah. What she says now, like, you gotta reach past your fingertips. That's something she repeats a lot
Mm-hmm.
to this generation of dancers. Show me show me why you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Like,
Right.
show me that.
Right.
What's something else? Like, it's these lifestyle. It's never her notes or theories or ways to get you to do the Danko thing dance wise. It's just sometimes never about something technical, like turn your leg out.
Right.
It's about you living your life a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You coming out here and embodying life in a certain way, and then that makes you dance. Like, she,
Mm-hmm.
like I like that, and the thing about the women getting off to do that for the bus, but she demands that. She
Right.
demands that.
Right.
We got to get there. Everyone get off this bus and put. It's like, this is what we're doing, and in some kind of way that just informs the movement.
Like, you ain't that cute. Joe
You
ass off this
not. You
bus.
not. Come on. If she used to say, oh, she used to say,
Mm-mm-mm.
if a choreographer asks you to balance on your earlobe, you try.
For real. Period.
You just try. Give it a go. Make
Right.
it happen.
Right.
Like, she would say that. You'd be like, huh? It wasn't like, let's talk about. It's like, no, do it.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
For real. For real. For a couple of years, and you know this, I was the production manager at the Performance Garage, and through my tenure there, I got to know Philadanco a little better,
Hmm.
and I am very grateful for that. And I have a working relationship. I tussle with the music for your shows. But one of the moments that I witnessed that was like, this is quintessential Danko culture, and no one had to tell me this. I just saw it. It was watching the dancers come in for warm up before dress rehearsal.
Mm.
And, you see like the black girls come in and they got their hair wrapped. And then you see the white girls come in and they got their hair wrapped. That gave me so much joy. It's like, I know exactly what that is. Like, this is what we do. This is what
This is
we
what
do.
we do. I was gonna say that when I did my best analogy about the women. I was really gonna say that they're gonna come up that bus with their hair and
Uh-huh.
they silk scarves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Because
it's
that's
what
what
we
you do.
do.
And like, these girls learned it from these girls and they know why
Yes,
they're doing it. And it's
yes,
it's not performative. It's
yes,
just that was
yes.
that brought
Because
me so much
because
joy.
because it's not about texture.
Right.
It's not about texture. It's about the fact that we don't want that hair to come out at
Right.
all. So you gotta lay that down.
But
You gotta lay it down.
I can't guarantee that those particular white girls might have ever gotten the opportunity to know to do that had they not been in Danko.
Philadanco. And
I
and the
love
thing
that.
is, I'm about to give you some deep history. You know who started that tradition?
Who?
You know who that came from?
Tell me.
Kim Y Bears Bailey.
Not surprised. I knew you were going to say
She tells stories.
it.
She tells stories of how it had to be for her and how that is just the thing. She tells, like, I had to lay down my hair before I got to the bus. So she would tell you that story.
Mm-hmm.
In some kind of way, it just gets passed down and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes the thing.
That's just how you
And
do.
it's interesting when I went with them to New York. I want to say 2024 to help, and it's the first thing she said. We was at the Joyce, and she was like, "I'm looking around and hair and da 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 da," and she just gave her like her history of how it was. She said, I'm not used to seeing girls do their buns 30 minutes before the show. That's
Right.
just not what we do. And it's
Right.
like she had to like come back in there and remind
Mm-hmm.
of how it is. But it's crazy. But you say all that stuff's not crazy. It's just what makes, because then what that translates to you when you watch them walk in that theater
Mm-hmm.
with their buns and they silk scarves on
Mm-hmm.
from a Rudy to a Tootie, and
Yes.
you saw that show, they were ready. They were
Yes.
ready for, that's the thing about Danko, is like how can I be ready so I don't gotta get ready?
That if you
And
stay
I'm gonna
ready,
make
you ain't got to get
whatever
ready. Mm-hmm.
hello and whatever you're throwing at me, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a small stage, a big stage, whatever we doing, orchestra,
Mm-hmm.
jazz band, recorded, whatever. We
Mm-hmm.
got it. If it skips, we're gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
We have figured this out in such deep ways that this is solid.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, is this rooted in
Mm-hmm.
our aesthetic and who we are? So back to this piece, yes, that's what we do. They walk in that room, they come from their tours. Everyone's coming from, Grandma's in their 100-year anniversary, Danko's in the 56. Everyone's having exciting shows and da dee 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 dee. Then they come for a week of rehearsals together, and it's go time. And I have watched the Graham dancers visually watch that with Danko dancers,
Mm-hmm.
and then in their bodies come like, okay, all right, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. It's
You
beautiful.
know,
It's beautiful. I was I was sitting here thinking about tradition, and it reminds me of this funny story that I heard, and you might appreciate this. So, this woman, she's in her kitchen and she's cooking dinner, and on the back of the stove, she has a pot of water. Burner's not on, but she just has a pot of water sitting in the back of the stove. And her
mm-hmm.
daughter goes, "Mommy, why do you have that pot of water sitting there?" And she goes, "Well, that's just what we've always done. I learned that from my mother, but I'm not sure why we do that. Let me find out." Called her mom. "Mom, when we cook, why do we put the pot of water in the back of the stove?" And mom goes, "Well, I mean, that's just what I've always done. I learned that from my mom." So she called her grandma. "Grandma, when we cook, why do we put the pot of water on the back of the stove?" And grandma went, "Well, I don't know why you're doing it. I do it because my stove's uneven and it balances it out."
Ah,
But tradition, that's just what you
yes,
do,
yes.
you
It's
know?
what we do. We fall in line. We are all, you know, within the Philadanco aesthetic or the family tree. We've all been here.
Mm-hmm.
There is someone in a previous generation that is like, oh, we are the new version of. And I absolutely love that. I love that at Danko you can go to an alumni event
Mm-hmm.
and talk to people. And maybe this is also because our founder is still here with us,
Right.
and has dealt with all generations.
Mm-hmm.
Even with this younger generation, she may not be the same JB that I experienced. She still gives them JB
Yep.
experiences, okay?
Yep.
And it's maybe that's something that ties us in, that you can be the group that did the first New York trip, and I can be the group that did the first European trip. And there's just something that we are just deeply connecting on and
Right.
a part of a fabric. And that's something I didn't experience. I didn't dream to really experience, and it's been really cool. I came to Danko by accident. I tell everybody that.
Okay.
Came here by accident, and I stayed here long by accident. But it was the best accident that I think happened for my life.
What do you mean when you say by accident?
Well, one, and I think when we previously talked in this, we talked about just a general of life.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to be an Ailey too, which at the time, because I'm of a certain age, was called the Alvin Ailey Repertory Company.
Right.
But now it's called Ailey 2. And I moved back to New York to get into Ailey 2. The rehearsal director at the time just was like, hey, like this is a thing that can happen for you. Come back to the school. You get ushered in. Simultaneously, Miss Jefferson had other plans for me. She kicked me out the school.
Mm.
She kicked me out, and I had to basically in a couple of hours figure out, well, what do I do from here. In some kind of way it was just known that when Philadanco's having auditions, you should go audition for Philadanco, get on a bus, come late, Get to the audition. They was holding the audition. I'm telling this story all types of wrong, but let's slow down.
Are you
I
going to tell
did
me
not
why
get
you
a.
got kicked out?
I did. I got. I can. We can. I did
Don't
not
gloss
get
over like I'm not
offered
going to ask.
my. I'm gonna do it. I got. I did. I did not get my scholarship back to the Ailey School because I missed too many Graham classes. Gag.
Come on, full circle.
I used to have Graham every day.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I had Hirabayashi,
Mm,
Kazuko Hirabayashi, may she rest in peace.
mm,
And Tuesdays and Thursdays, I had it with Jacqueline Buglisi.
mm.
In some kind of way, every Tuesday and Thursday, I just missed Miss Buglisi's class. I just, for whatever reasons, and it ran the gamut. And I ended up leaving the school because my mom couldn't afford for me to stay in New York, which I should have just stayed in New York. So that was definitely my fault. And a couple of months later, this 82 situation is happening. I said, well, I'll come back to the school. Came back to the school to audition for a scholarship. And Miss Jefferson basically was like, you was inconsistent with
Mm-hmm.
classes and you left to go home. So I don't know how serious you are any longer. And I don't want to take a chance
Work.
on you.
Okay.
Translation, she was like, you trying to get into Ailey too, and it ain't gonna come through me.
Oh, okay.
Black, black mamas, you know
Uh-huh.
how it is. It ain't coming through me. If you that's what you want, you need to figure out another path.
Mm-hmm.
So the plan was go audition for Philadanco
Mm-hmm.
because Joan Myers Brown is friends with Sylvia Waters, the then artistic director of Ailey 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
You was
the
going to try to
thing
get back in from the
was
back.
because if Joan liked you and Joan's interested in you, then let's take a look. Wait a minute, don't take one of our students for you. D
Uh-huh.
D D D D. And the thought, right, from the person Nasha Thomas, my homegirl, great mentor. The thought really was like, you're going to get to the end, and you would just create a buzz, and then that Monday, because in that time with dance, it was all about buzz and your talent. It
Uh-huh.
was never. It was always like if you was a dancer to get to the end of a nationally recognized company audition, then you gotta be special. So
Right.
someone needs to snag you.
Right.
She said, "You'll get to the end." She didn't give me. She did not count me in to get a contract. She was like, "You get to the end, and on Monday, I'll bring it up in the meeting, and that's gonna make Sylvia be like, well, maybe I need
I
to see
made a
Tommie."
mistake. Let
You
me
know, let's
reevaluate
invite him
the
in
way I do
class.
everything.
Well, because no, Sylvia, how it happens, this is so good, Charles. You would get a scholarship to the school, and then Sylvia starts to walk around and see you and
Mm-hmm.
be like, you need. Or if Sylvia saw you outside the school and thought you would be great for Ailey 2, she would say, come to the summer program, I'll get you into Ailey 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was, okay, Miss Jefferson did not give you a scholarship, but Sylvia Waters knows who you are. If she knows that you have the interest of Philadanco, she's gonna be like, "Well, come, let me see," because I'm looking for the members of my company. So I end up going to this Danko audition, and I missed my first bus, and as I'm leaving Port Authority at 42nd Street,
How old were you?
I see I was 20.
Okay, this all tracks. Go ahead.
I was 20. I was leaving Port Authority, and I was telling my friend, let's go get pancakes.
I wanted to reach into a time machine and smack you just now.
I said, we missed the bus. I mean, and when I say we missed the bus, I missed the bus. He was waiting on me to get there, and I was running because I had to go to Western Union. My mama sent me money. Then I got to go get the ticket. And this is all before apps, y'all. There was no apps on your phone that you can just like
Mm-mm.
transfer.
Nope.
It is so convenient now to do all that. My mom had to wake up. My mom lives in California. She had to get to Western Union.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to wait for Western Union to open at 42nd Street. I had to get there, get the money, run to Port Authority,
Uh-huh.
pay for a ticket, find the bus gate, and as I'm getting to the bus gate, that bus is pulling off.
Uh-huh.
So I had the money, and I said, "Well, I just want to get, let's go get the refund on this ticket and go get some pancakes."
I'm gonna fight you.
So as we walking out, I run into my friend Michael Snipes, and he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Oh, I was supposed to go." Number one, it's Michael Snipe. Um, I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to go to the Danko audition, but I missed the bus, so blah, blah, blah." He said, "Oh, my best friend dances there." He was like, "I'm always around Danko." He was like, "You need to go. You're tall. JB would like you." That's the first thing he said.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh." He was like, "Yeah, you need to go. You need to go." So he calls his friend, because he's the only person who had a cell phone around
Right,
this
right,
time,
right.
because I know I sure enough didn't. He calls his friend on her landline. She stayed at the Danko apartments. He said, "Hey, I have this friend. He needs to come to Danko audition, but he's going to be late. You need to tell JB about him." She never met me. Willa Noel never met me a day in her life. Was like, "Well, is he tall? Is he good?" And Michael was like, "Yes and yes." So she goes over. She tells JB, "Hey, I have a friend. He missed his bus, blah, 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 blah." And just because Willa was the prima of the company, JB was like, "All right, we'll hold the audition."
Oh.
She's like, "We'll hold the audition. You say he's good, all right." So I arrived in Philly, and when I came across that bridge, I knew my life was changing. I said, "Oh, my
Mm.
life is about to change." And I'm a person where I don't like to make drastic changes. It got to be slow. It got to
Right.
be planned out, and just the whole me coming to a city that I've never been
Mm-hmm.
and maybe having to move and navigate was just all like what. So I came and I did the audition, and JB was like, "All right, well, I want you to come back on Tuesday. Milton Myers is going to be here. It's
Mm.
going to be a callback." She had me and another young man staying, but it was already said that somebody who we all knew, Mark Spalding, was getting a contract.
Mm.
So I thought that she was looking for two men, and one of the two men she was looking for was Mark Spalding. So
Right.
honestly, it was between me and this guy. So I'm thinking, yes,
Right.
we are accomplishing the plan. I am one of two guys who may be getting a contract with Philadanco. So I'm gonna go back to New York, and I'm definitely getting to 82, babe. That's happening. On my way out, as JB was giving me bus money, because that's what she did back in the day,
Uh-huh.
to come back for Tuesday, she said something to me. I should have. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said something to me, and I got back to New York on that Monday, and I told my mentor everything, Nasha, and Nasha simply looked at me and said, "Oh, you're moving to Philadelphia."
Mm-hmm.
She said, "You're getting a job with Philadanco." And the first thing I said to her, I said, "That wasn't the plan."
Right.
She said, "Yeah, but like that's Philadanco." So
Right. Right.
she was like, "Hit it, sensei."
Right.
And I said, "Well, this is okay. All right." So then I get inside of it, and my teacher from California, Michelle Blossom, saw me dance in Cerritos, California with Danko. And I was just like, I'm going to stay here for 2 years, da 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 da. And she stopped me. She said, "I want you to understand something." She was like, "Ailey 2 was a temporary company. You only get 2 years in it and you got to get out.
Right.
Danko is a forever company. You can stay as long as you keep getting renewed.
Yeah.
That's where you need to be more than an Ailey 2. This is somewhere where you can really sink your teeth in and develop yourself."
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that the Ailey 2 thing is not a great opportunity. It is fantastic.
Right.
Fantastic. But it is limited, and there is, which I've experienced from many friends who did it, it's stressful. When you get to that second year, are you going to get into the first company? Are you not going to get into the first company?
Right.
Are you going to go over here? Are you going to go over here? So she was saying to me at the time of my life and where I was physically, she said, "This gives you a better opportunity to figure some things out.
Right.
Technically with your body, your everything. And I just kept figuring it out
You had to
year by
shift those
year.
priorities. Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
Sean Lemire Williams
Yes.
is another one later on down the line. I was at, remember 12th Street Gym?
Yes.
Was at 12th Street Gym, and me and Sean Lemire was talking. And
R.I.P.
I think around RIP, oh, yes.
So many.
And I was telling him how I was about to start auditioning. Because I was always auditioning, honey. I was always
Hmm.
looking for the next gig. And I had to be like in year 7 of Danko by this moment, 6 or 7. And he said, maybe 8. Let's go to 8. He said, he was like, why? He's like, why are you auditioning? Like, let's
Right.
talk about it. So I was like, I'm looking for Papa DD. I don't know, I'm making up all this kind of stuff. And he said, Tommy, you're building a name here. And a
Uh-huh.
lot of people don't get to do that.
Yeah.
He said, people know you as a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
He said, choreographers are now coming into that company wanting to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but then also now you're making work and
Mm-hmm.
people are learning about your work. And one thing I will say about Philadelphia, it supports artists. It has a lot of opportunities to make work, to get funded,
This is true.
to make a splash
Well,
on
funding.
the ether. Funding's a little iffy right now, but just to make a splash on the ether. You make a
Yeah.
work in Philadelphia, it can get to New York some kind of way.
Yeah. It's true.
I have friends in the Midwest, they make work and it's like they don't get the opportunities for the work to be seen in the same type of gravitas that we can do.
Right.
And I can invite 12 people from New York to come and see a work in Philadelphia versus they're not going to get on the plane and maybe go see something in the Midwest so easily.
Right.
But they'll get
True.
on a bus, they'll get on a train, or they just might be near. It's just how it all just like coming to play. You talk about 2010 IABD. I got a huge opportunity from that IABD with Danny G at Summer Stage. She came to IABD. She
Mm-hmm.
saw my piece. She was like, "Whoa!" And that just started this whole conversation. So I think when Sean Lemire did that, I was like, I heard him. I paused. I said, okay, what's more important now? Right? Is it more important to be starting to build the after?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to just, I think if I would have left Philadanco around my 5th and 6th season and went somewhere else, I think the way that I had dreamed of that is, I think I would have to have start fresh and would
Yeah.
have been redirected.
I agree.
But some kind of way, me staying and then getting associated with Elion, that led to getting associated with the University of the Arts, that led to getting associated with Donna Faye Birchfield, that led to
Mm-hmm.
getting associated with, everyone else in Philadelphia. It just really gave way to really helping me to find who exactly I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the way that I think I do it. I always question, like I said, what would have happened if I left year 6? What would be my influence?
Right.
What would be my platform? What would be I would I have found some of those Tommy trademark moves
Right.
that people talk about? Would I have really explored Kanye West the way I used to explore Kanye West? Like
Mm-hmm. I
there's
remember.
some pretty
I remember botched. I
I mean,
worked
and
that
getting
show.
opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
you was at you I'm laughing because I'm having a huge like flashback of
Mm-hmm.
you like bopping to the music from the soundboard
Yep.
at the Painted Bride.
Yep.
But just like I don't know if some of those things would have happened, and I'm so grateful, and that needed to happen that way. But even like how now with the University Arts closing and me just really being a part of this city, I think that was important
Oh yeah.
to help me stay grounded. But it was all by accident. I was supposed to be here for 2 years. I left the company after 3 years,
Child.
moved back to California, did an interview with Dan Spirit, and talked about Danko so much
They were like, "Why are
that
you
the
here?"
woman said, yes, that's exactly. She said, why you? Then I came on back. Then I left another time to go do complexions,
Mm-hmm.
and that's around 2008. And remember the recession hit,
Mm-hmm.
and Obama got on a hold and said, we have a recession, and the arts funding was changing. And I joined
Charm.
complexions, and on my first day, Desmond Richardson said, "We don't have the funds for your position next season, but have fun. You're here with us now." And never said a word to John Myers Brown about it. Never. She just knew I was in New York and I was working complexions. Some kind of way, she needed me to come back to do the Joyce. And
Mm-hmm.
she called me on my last day of work with complexions and said, "Can you do the Joyce?" I said, "I sure can. I'll come to rehearsal this weekend." Came to rehearsal, and she just, in her John Myers Brown way, was like, "So what's going on?" And I said, "Girl," and I told her what was happening with complexions, and she said, "Well, while you're in transition, just stick around."
Mm-hmm.
So I did the Joys, I did the other summer bookings. Then I got a job with Radio City Christmas Spectacular, and
Really?
I did, yeah, yeah. And this is where that's where it got really interesting
That's
because I
fun.
left to do that, and she basically held a spot for me in a Jawale Jozala piece.
Ah.
She said, "Because when Tommy comes back, he's
Ah.
going to be in that spot." And I was going to use my money to go start living my next life. But she said, "No, no, you're going to save that money and you're going to put on a show when you get back." And we just kept going. And I came back, and
I love how
after a while, I just started.
you just like had this fear of like putting down roots, you know?
This was not the plan.
You were trying to
But Charles,
pollinate, not put down roots.
when I say it was always the plan, because I had a moment in recent years, I can tell you, I had Ken Bears Bailey dance magazine cover.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading that magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the picture she had on the cover. I remember reading a review that Danko, when they did Donald Byrd's Bam and George Faison's Sweet Otis. I remember
Mm.
reading that review. I remember reading all types of things that had like Joe Myers Brown's name in it. When I was
Mm-hmm.
dancing with Lulu Washington at my first IABD, everybody in the van from Lulu Washington was like, "There goes Joe Myers Brown." And I simply looked her way and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's her.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I've seen her before. Great." I remember seeing Danko at the New Victory Theater in New
Mm.
York and seeing JB outside with her famous Coach tote bag or
Uh-huh.
a tote bag of her sort. I remember, it's like I have these, like, so when you say that, it's like, yeah, like I feel like the roots and being around was really always being shown to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always just saying, I got another plan.
And
I'm
that's the
over here.
thing with are you a Leo?
I have a Leo rising.
Okay. That it's, I mean, this may or may not have anything to do with it, but it's like it's that thing where like you can know the thing to do, you can know that it's the thing to do, but if it has to be your idea. Otherwise, why are you talking to me about it?
Why are we here? Why are we here?
And
And
I
it
get
was
it.
so unexpected. My first time as a member with Danko, they performed at Lincoln Center outdoors. And I
Mm.
remember that was the first time I really stopped and was like, I'm in Philadanco. Like this is actually quite a really major situation. Before
Hmm.
then I was so like I was supposed to be in Ailey too, and I'm here, and and I'm not even dancing. I'm carrying costumes. I sat in that audience, and they did a Milton Myers piece, Kinesis. They did Ronald K. Brown's Gatekeepers. They did Sweet
Mm.
Otis by George Faison, and they ended with Enemy Behind the Gates by Christopher L. Huggins
That
with
piece.
no intermission. And the way that entire amphitheater of folks was just, as you said earlier, yelling and screaming and saying work. And I was watching these people that I'm in the studio with every day transform and extend. And I was like, I'm one of them.
Hmm.
I went backstage and I got that suitcase and I said, "Let's get on the bus and go home, y'all. Like, this is where it's at." I was like, "Oh, okay." And to think back, like my career at Danko was so great.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I had to retire, I was just like, I've done a lot of great dancing and worked with a lot of great people, but it was just something that I just, for a moment, didn't want to sink my teeth in and really see,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it was about, it's like I was saying earlier about now it's just about making dances. It was about, I just wanted to be in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be in New York. I just wanted to dance in a company that you could wear shorts. I just wanted to like walk. You know, I just wanted to live like a lifestyle. It was never like I had because my best friend danced Curvin danced with Alvin Ailing, and when they got Sweet Otis,
Mm-hmm.
and he was doing the triple pirouette person in Sweet Otis, and by that moment in my career, I was like, well, I've already done the funny couple.
Cha.
And I was in his kitchen teaching him stuff before the audition
Right.
that he had to do to get casted. And I'm like, well, these are the steps. Or when he did a Ronald K. Brown piece, and I was looking at the video, and I said, "Oh well, those were some movements he was workshopping on us that summer. He came. I was like, this is we're all here. We're all
Right.
here. It's all attainable." But before that, y'all, I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to have a lifestyle of dance that I used to watch as a student. The Ailey dancers used to come down in their drag
Uh-huh.
and just be ethereal. When you saw them walking down the street with their big sunglasses and their
Mm-hmm.
big dance bags, and
Mm-hmm.
you just want to have that life and go see a show at night. But I was at Danko working with Alonzo King at the age of 21.
Uh-huh.
That was a life.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I could tell myself, I'm like, girl, shut up.
So two things. Thing number one, that work with Enemy Behind the Gates, is that what it's called?
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that piece, I only saw it once, but that piece I think is really what clued me in to what being a Denko dancer is.
Yes.
Because I remember
Yes.
like what looked to
Yes.
me like there was a moment where like it looked to me like this 5'2" woman ran and jumped and landed
Hmm.
on the shoulders of this like 8 foot tall man.
Hmm.
And I was like,
And then he throws her to another
yes,
man.
yeah. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's thing
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Thing two, I think the overall takeaway from this entire conversation is we have to take a moment and appreciate where we are. Live in the moment that you are currently occupying because otherwise you won't get the appreciation of being there as much if you are constantly looking outside of the moment, looking ahead. It's like,
Yes.
you can't live in the
Yes.
past because you're not there anymore. You can't live in the future because you ain't there yet. Where are you? You're
Yes.
here
Here.
now. And that is something that, and I'm saying this to myself too, but that's an important message to a lot of younger people. We're so fixated on new now next.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to live in
And
the
we
moment.
don't remember, and I think I learned this through teaching. You don't sometimes remember what you've learned and bring it with you.
Right.
And I watch that with younger people, and I've been guilty of that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, with my own works as a choreographer, like I've gotten into certain processes where I just forget that I actually learned how to solve this equation.
Right.
And if you honestly just look in your bag and pull out some tools,
Mm-hmm.
boom, you know, or like I ask myself, like, why did you do that? Like, you knew better not to do that or
Right.
to use that song or just to cut from there. So that's what I want to say. You forget as you're looking in the present to to look back and be reflective.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be nostalgic all the time. Be reflective and say, okay, I'm making the work. Doesn't need to be this long. You learned this before. that you made it work that was kind of long, too long. So you have the tools now to cut it. That's
Mm.
number one. I want to say about that. And number two about enemy. How can you only see that piece one time? That's why I reacted the way I did. Like, what do you mean
It
you
just
only
worked
seen
out that
enemy
way.
one time? One time? Like, I know we did that piece a lot more than one time
You
in
did.
my
You
years.
did.
Oh my god! But I joined Philadanco July 2002, and they just premiered it at the Joyce
Uh-huh.
in May 2002.
Okay.
And it was on your rep tape because we had VHSs, right?
Right, right, right,
It
right,
was on
right.
my rep tape or my rep DVD, one of those. And when I say I watched them mofos do Enemy for the entire summer of 2002, and I was like, I am in this company.
Right.
And it simply, you hit it on its nail. It simply is quintessential Philadanco.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the physicality. It's about the fierceness.
Yep.
It's about the individuality. It's
Mm-hmm.
about group,
Mm-hmm.
cohesive. It's about fearlessness. It's about rock solid, no ifs, ands, or what
Work.
technique.
Work.
Like
Yeah.
it's happening.
Yeah.
Like the triples happening. I learned that from Sean Lemire Williams. He said he was talking to his company before a performance. He said there will be no ifs, ands, or whats. I said, what? He said, he looked at them. He said there will be no ifs, ands, or whats. And I have taken that. But that is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
When Philly, I was teaching. I wasn't teaching in recent years. Not recent years. Why I say it like that? Recent months. Like what? It's like what are you saying? In
Word. Say word.
recent months, string theory, string theory, magnet school.
Mm-hmm.
They went to high school dance festival, and Tracy Vault, who's the rehearsal director of
Yes.
Philadanco and a
Mm-hmm.
great friend of mine's, was like, I want to, I need them to do a Tommie-Waheed piece. And that's okay, have this piece. I did a piece on some kids like long time ago. So she took it. So she's like, you need to come. They need like, you need to come and coach them. Get to the point, Tommy. I walked in that room. They are dancing.
Yeah.
I'm giving notes. I went into this speech. I said, the one thing I learned about Philadelphia is the Philadelphia pride. When you step into a new arena, Philadelphians will be like, it's like we're stepping in. We're stepping in.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming in. We're coming in hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the pride of that. It's like you're actually saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have experienced that at Philadelphia. So when Sean Lemire did that to his dancers, I was like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
JB used to say stuff like, I don't care if you gotta do your Reefa or whatever you gotta do, but tomorrow we are dancing.
I know that's right.
Like you better. It's like it's just there is no other option. That is Philly. That is
Mm-hmm.
like there is no other way but to elevate, and this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to get into those kids, and those kids looking at me, and them kids got to Virginia, and Tracy sent me the video. She said they had so much pride, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because that's what Philadelphia's taught me, to have pride about what we have here and
Mm-hmm.
who we are, and in the ways that we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something I hear Joe Miles Brown stressing a lot now in her years. It's like remembering the importance of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Philadelphia way of moving. There's
It's
a
true.
heritage, there's a lineage, there's a legacy
Mm-hmm.
that is so powerful that yes, as we are moving on with life, she's like, but don't forget that. Like really see that and bring that along for the ride. And I have to say I agree with her.
It's very true. And it's like, I lived in Philadelphia my entire life up until 6 years ago. And I've been in Jersey ever since. And it's like, I know I bring Philly with me because, like, I'll say things a certain way or I'll approach things a certain way.
You said John earlier. I want your listeners to know that Charles said John, and I didn't react, but I reacted.
It's just the thing, and it cracks me up that uh, white people in Philadelphia think that they invented that 10, 15 years ago. I was saying John in the sixth grade. Please, child. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, it's like I know I bring my Philly with me wherever I go. Like, don't
Hmm.
let someone come out their mouth the wrong way. I'm sorry, what?
Especially the women in Philly. I
Mm,
it is they Philly women, woo,
mm-hmm,
Philly, especially Philly black women.
mm-hmm,
They are. It is. Excuse me.
mm-hmm,
Run that back. I'm
mm-hmm,
standing up. We're having words about it.
mm-hmm. It's
I
like,
have.
it's
I
not
have.
that I didn't hear what you said. I'm giving you a chance to correct what you said.
And I ain't calling nobody in here to help. I ain't calling Junebug and them.
Nope.
No,
No.
we here. We
Nope.
gonna figure it out. Like I. There's a lot about that grit and that bite that
Mm-hmm.
I know has made its influence into who I am and into my movement.
Mm-hmm.
That I think Philadelphia black dance is regal
Mm-hmm.
and a certain type of sophistication, but it can just get real guttural,
Mm-hmm.
real gutter. But
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have that bun or that French twist in. It's not gonna get wild and bangy. It's gonna get like there. And it's rooted in ballet.
Yeah.
You know, when we really look at the lineage of like Dolores Brown and Joe Miles Brown, Sidney King, Marion Sujet, there's a deep root of ballet in the line and the form. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what JB did with it for Philadanco aesthetic, she always said she wanted to start a ballet company off the bat. That's what she thought she should do.
Right.
But in the same year or around that time, DTH was starting. So she, being a terrific businesswoman, just knew that, like, okay, well, that's not going to work with them being so close and like that, they have that thing. So what else can we do? And she's made an aesthetic of a thing, but at its root, everybody in this company at Philadanco must be able to create a shape
Right.
and have line and form. And you can look like a football player from the Green Bay Packers,
Right. Right.
or you can look like, Misty Copeland from a ballet school. But when you put them alongside each other, they need to both hit arabesque.
Yep.
Can you do it? Great.
Yep.
And when she jumps to you, you need to catch her. You need to fling her up. My first month in this company, she said, "Man, if you got to go to extra ballet classes, you need to go." She says, "Because these women, they will run to you, jump all on your neck,
Mm-hmm.
swivel down your back, and then shenay like a blur away
Mm-hmm.
and outdance you in the cold wind. And I need you to try to keep up with them.
Literally. And you won't know what happened.
You won't know. Willa Noel did that to me my first season. I did a trio with that woman, and we got on stage, and I said, "This is not what you done on. This is not what you did in the studio. This is not. This is not what you was. Wait, hold on, hold on." And she started to dance.
Mm-hmm.
She outdanced me that day. I said, "Okay, you won the battle on that one."
Like, why? How did I end up facing the other way? What just happened?
What just happened? All I know is we said 5, 6, 7, 8, and you really went. You
Uh
really now you took all the notes. You said, "Okay, got it."
huh.
But
I love
oh,
it.
I love that about dance. I love that. Love that.
I
Yeah.
do too. So okay, tell us when and where the performance will be taking place, where your work that was commissioned for the Martha Graham Dance Company will be
I love
occurring.
that. The work will be at Penn Life Arts May 29th and 30th in the Annenberg Theater. I think it's a 7:30 curtain on Friday, 2 o'clock curtain on Saturdays, 7:30 curtain on Saturday night. It is a 250th anniversary of America, but the commission is being supported by Art Philly, who has a festival around Philadelphia for 4 weeks in May and June to celebrate the celebration of the 250th year of the Declaration of Independence. And they are commissioning this piece on Philadanco and Martha Graham inside of the Martha Graham presentation at Penn Live Arts. The work is entitled In Case of Fires Speak. It is in conversation to Martha Graham's American Document, a work that she created that centralizes the question of what does it mean to be an American. I have a wonderful dramaturg, Anne Gorton, who has helped me do some research inside of the Graham archive. And one of the coolest things about American Document is there is no video recording of the complete piece.
Oh.
There's just small video recordings, there's writings, there's reviews, there's pictures, there is a sheet music of the opening section score, and that is it. And everything that I've done with the piece, and my reflection, is taking small nuggets to then drift off into a new thought. Like, I don't think I'm trying to recreate anything within her work, but I'm interested in saying, well, this is the sheet music that you have for a section. Let's have a piano player play it, and then my sound designer is going to, take it and run to another thought with it. So within my work, it starts with her original composition, but it moves into Erykah Badu, it moves into Kendrick Lamar, it moves into Rochelle Farrell, it moves into Nina Simone, it moves into Julius Eastman, and this is all sound designed by my incredible sound designer Uwazi Zamani, who is making waves in this dance world himself. He's actually getting his doctorate degree from Temple University in dance.
TU.
And I have wonderful costumes by Anna Elise, who's a longtime collaborator with me, who's done a lot of costumes for my works for Philadanco. I have some amazing dancers from both companies, Philadanco and Martha Graham, and we are just going to be living on that Penn Live Art stage next Friday and Saturday. And we move on to the next, and we let the work live and breathe. And we are not trying to tell a narrative per se, but it is a conversation. And I felt that it was important to have that conversation as honest as possible, especially during the times that we're living in.
Right.
We started this piece last June 2025 in the summer, and Trump was just really getting things going with ICE, and had a lot of conversations about immigration, a lot of conversations about what if, what else would change, and war, and the sense of feeling like this land, who is this land made for?
Right.
Is this land made for me or for you? Or and what is that sense of feeling of wanting to belong, or do you need to belong? I know I spoke a lot about in the work. I have a particular dancer who lifts up a central Black female character, and we talk a lot about, like, there's a lot of conversations on how, like, democracy is always saved by Black women, but we never really lift them up.
Right.
So we talk about that. I also have this thing I'm loving. It feels a bit like Lovecraft Country or Sinners, kind of like horrific cinematicness inside of the staging,
Which is on brand for you.
which my dramaturg told me, he was just like, did you watch Lovecraft Country? And I was like, no.
You didn't?
He's like, this, I did not. I don't like blood, Charles.
However,
Unlike blood, like
that
unlike blood and goriness.
fair, and there is definitely that as part of the series. However, the intellectual in you, the black intellectual in you specifically, would really appreciate this
It's
series.
how you say that, and I receive that, and I read so many articles about it. It's like, okay, Lovecraft Country centers, and this is not really on brand, but on brand. Orange is the New Black. I
Okay.
have done so many deep dives about the things, but I never could just say, okay, let's watch it. I watched Those Who See Us that summer it came out,
Uh
and
huh.
that was just really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Things like that stay with me. I process it. I think about people who I may know who lived through that time or lived through a certain type of situation. And it just becomes kind of like HD 3D with me. So it takes me a thing, but I am going to try to watch Lovecraft Country because everyone says how brilliant.
It really, really is. And there's someone took the time to put together a syllabus for the show. I
Mm.
have it in a Google Drive. I'm gonna go look for it because I've been meaning to revisit it. And it's like all the poetry and artwork and novels and it's all the different references and the polls and they just compiled it and they broke it up to like this corresponds to this episode.
You have to send that to
It's
me.
brilliant. And you would appreciate it. It does get a little bloody and gory in spaces. It just does. But I've never seen anything like it before since.
But back to the work, when you saying that too, makes me say, like, that is important for me to share. Like the work, I do not want the work to be pretty.
Right.
And the work is not nasty, but the work is to have a certain type of intensity and complexity
Mm-hmm.
and an angst and an
Yes.
aggression. And that is something too I wanted to lean more into because, we're in collaboration with Martha Graham and,
Mm-hmm.
she, that dramaticism that they can just project in their bodies and in space, is just something that I really wanted to play with. And,
Does she have
um,
does the company have a lot of black dancers at this point in time or any?
So I am using their African American female Megan King,
Okay.
and last thing I want to say how I had to cast them
Mm-hmm.
because they were on tour and I was busy. There was never a moment where I could go into the Graham studio and like do like an audition.
Right, right, right.
And how how I was brought in for the project, it was like, well, we need to know who he wants to use
Mm-hmm.
because the first residency we had, the 4 Graham dancers had to come to Philly,
Mm-hmm.
so they needed to know at a very crunch time. So I had to do research online
As to who they had.
and who they had, but luckily the day I went to New York at the very beginning to start research through the archives, they were in a rehearsal, and Megan King is one of their African American women. Is someone I have been watching from the distance. She
Mm-hmm.
was in Ailey too. She went to the Ailey Fordham program, and she just would be in the blogs and articles and interviews, and she was
Right.
just one of their top students. So I was really following her, but I never saw her dance.
Mm.
And I went to this rehearsal, and she had I want to say like a 2 minute cameo at best. I think it was smaller than that. And this heifer got on this floor and wore it out. And I looked at Janet. I said, I don't know who I'm casting. I said, but she gotta be here.
Right.
She gotta be here. So I have her, Ja. I think Ja's. I can't think of Ja's last name. I don't want to mess it up. Ja is Dominican,
Okay.
Dominican Republic. And then I have Antonio. Antonio's Italian.
Mm. Okay.
And Antonio, I saw Antonio dance eventually, but I originally was trying to use I think you remember him, Richard who used to be in Ballet X. Richards, I can't think. I don't know no one's last name right now. Don't let me
I
mess
think
up
I know
on
what you're
it.
talking about.
But
Yeah,
Richard
yeah.
was in Ballet X. I knew Richard, and I said I want to use Richard. And some kind of way, Richard got injured, and Janet emailed me. She said, "Well, you came to a performance, and I think you saw Antonio. I think Antonio would be really great for the project." And I said, "Sure, I'll trust your opinion."
Mm-hmm.
And Antonio is amazing. And then last but not least, I'm using Zachary, who's in Graham. And I chose Zachary because Zachary trained with my friend Alicia Graff at Juilliard. So
Okay.
I was like, I was like, you've had some contemporary. I know if you was in that regime,
Right.
we can do this. And when I tell you, Charles, it's been a match made in heaven. I would not suggest any choreographer to cast a work in that fashion, but I just believe that it was just destiny.
I love
And I'm
that.
just trying to walk into the destiny of the work. And they've been with me. They've been, you know, they are an AGMA company. They have a lot of union rules.
Mm.
They are the oldest American modern dance company,
Yeah.
and they have been around the world and back this year. But when I tell you, they are some of the most humble people that I
Mm-hmm.
have worked with. So giving, so generous, so with the things. And I feel that they have made lifelong bonds with the Danko dancers. And
I
when
bet.
all nine dancers are in the room, they feel like one company, one band of groups. And I'm not saying that to just say it. It's really honest. And I really want people to know that I don't say things like this. I'm not really the cheesy girl. It's like,
But I believe that
okay,
because it's a unique experience that no one else but those individuals, those nine individuals, will have. I love that. I love that. And I asked about if they had any black dancers, only because with a company like Martha Graham, you're the dancers are going to be from literally anywhere in the world at any given time.
everywhere. Yeah.
And so it's like at the moment that you're there, the grouping
Yeah.
could be who knows. So I was just curious. That's all.
Mary Hingston, who is a Philadelphia native, may she rest in peace, and she danced with Martha Graham. She was African American,
Mm-hmm.
and she's one of their like long, like prima legendary dancers. But I was recently watching the documentary that Martha Graham Dance Company has on PBS, and they spoke very freely that Martha has always been very integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yuriko, Mary Hingston, Peter
Oh
London.
yeah.
A lot during the time of Hitler, a lot of Jewish dancers were in her company,
Yep.
and she got invited to the Berlin Olympics, and she turned it down. And like right now, I looking at their roster, they are a really eclectic, diverse bunch of group of people. But
And I think more
I
so now than they
do
ever have been. Yeah.
right. Yes, I totally agree. I do enjoy going into spaces that though were built for white people and finding the people of color
Mm-hmm.
and bringing them along for the ride. That's just something, I don't try to do it as a political statement. I
Right.
just really I've been in productions, I've been in schools where, I was the minority and
Mm-hmm.
I'm there for a special thing and I'm special and I'm gifted, but have felt a little unseen.
Right.
So, I do, if I'm working with a ballet company and there's a black woman, I want her in the room. If,
Right.
I want to attempt the best to put her in the room with me. Let's get this going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I knew with American Document, Martha was coming from her lens
Mm-hmm.
of her America. And the first thing I said to Tanya was, who's the curator for Art Philly, I said, well, I'm a black queer male from South Central Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
now living in West Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
My my vision of America is totally different.
Oh yeah.
My experience in America is totally different. And I knew I wanted people in the room who could speak to that,
Right.
you know? So it's not about a segregation, but it's about, you know, us having a full scope of opinions and thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have all the races in the room.
Yeah.
And it was also important because, just to give you more context, the piece is being commissioned by Art Philly, but now both individual companies will have individual rights to the work.
Oh, I love
So
that.
it was important for me to make a work that can live in the repertories of both companies individually.
I
So
love
if Janet
that.
wants to take the piece for just Graham, that
Mm-hmm.
8 Grahams can do the work, and the same thing can happen for Philadanco. It's not, yes, the brava, the je ne sais quoi, the extra seasoning,
Yeah.
as the meme would show you,
Uh,
is the fact that these two companies come together. But I wanted to make a work that can live individually, so it was important that I have all the bodies, all the different opinions, and all the different scenarios and races. I didn't want to say race, but races
right.
in the room to really make this work, and
Well,
sonically
now more than ever,
understand
that this is a wonderful conversation to be having for the Graham Company and Danko. But I'm thinking like the Graham Company, like you have all these different people coming from all around the world, including United States, and I'm sure there's folks that are here on visas. So that's another
Yeah,
conversation that
yeah,
this is a moment, man. And also
yeah,
I
yes,
just had
yes.
a flash forward when you said both companies have the rights to the work. I just picture you going, yeah, so I gotta be in Philly this weekend to work with Danko, and then I gotta go to Mykonos to clean up my piece on Graham, and then
I mean, it was an interesting. It was so like the negotiation. The negotiation was so like, well, what does that look like?
right.
For more context, you get commissioned as a choreographer. Most contracts are the company has to work for 3 years, and 2 of the years is exclusive, and the last year is non-exclusive. So that means if Charles has a company and you commission me, Charles Dance Theater,
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years, the piece you have by me, no one else can perform. It's yours.
Right.
And then in that third year, if Ballet Black Company over here wants to buy my piece, then they can buy it,
Right.
and then they can do it simultaneously. And it was like, well, what does this look like? Like,
Right.
how is this negotiated? Is this and when that was being done, that was exciting.
I
I was like, that's exciting. I said, you can coordinate that if y'all want to do it here and they want to do it there, and then y'all want me somewhere else to do it somewhere. That is so cool. Like that stuff like that is where I kind of squeal and be like,
right. That's
you
beautiful.
know,
That is so beautiful. I'm so proud of you. I'm so
thank you,
excited. I can't wait
Charles.
to Martha and I are going to go see this show, and you're going to probably hear me in the audience screaming my full head off.
Huh.
Yes.
Well,
Yes, yes. I'm that person. Obviously, I could sit and talk with you all day.
I have
This was a
enjoyed this
key. I needed
conversation.
this. I needed this. This conversation
Me
fed my
too.
soul.
I needed this too because I needed to be reminded of why being in Philly is so important to
Hmm.
me and my work. I needed to be reminded of that.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
Ashe.
Tommie-Waheed Evans, it has been an extreme pleasure having you here with us at the Full Circle table. And I know this ain't the last time we're going to sit and chat.
No, no, no. We got to do this more. We
I
got to do this
know. I
more.
agree. I agree. And we will. But I want to
Ashe.
thank you
Ashe.
so much for sharing your time and energy with us today.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
You have a wonderful day, sir.
You too.
Take care. Full Circle is a Never Scared Productions podcast, hosted by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal, produced and edited by Never Scared, executive produced by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal. Our theme and music is by the Jingleberries. All names, pictures, music, audio, and video clips are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective copyright holders.